Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Flamebait Talks. As you all know by now, I am your host, Flamebait, and as I've said before, y'all can just call me Flame. So today, I'm actually going to be doing a smaller video compared to the last three. I would actually like to start off with a small correction from the last video. I did some talking with husband, and we were discussing the part where I was talking about the thing that led him into his deciding on a Arctic fox to be his persona. The thing is, I actually misremembered something. He did actually have a little fox puppet plush called Logan. It was not a Arctic fox. I was actually kind of combining that with something else. He actually had a Arctic fox / hybrid dog thing. He actually had a hybrid Arctic fox dog mix when he was younger. And that was the thing that I was kind of meshing with the two. But foxes were always a very important part of his life, and that's what kind of led him to the Arctic fox decision on his old persona, Walter. Now, getting into what this video is going to be about. I just did the video, technically I did the video on Monday. As you all know, it was not actually uploaded until this morning, and I am very deeply, deeply sorry for that. I'm not trying to make that a habit, I promise. It's just, unfortunately, work outside of here is extremely hectic at the moment, and Fire Doggo can barely keep up with that as is. So I am doing my best to try to stick to my original schedule. I will do my best to make sure I have videos out on Monday and Saturday for you all moving forward, if I can try to manage my time a little bit better. Alright, so this video is actually going to be about being out and being a furry. Well, I suppose I should say being out as a furry. This was something that I did not do full scale until about 2 years ago, actually. For the most part, up until that point, there was just a few people that kind of knew. As I discussed in the previous video, a lot of our friends kind of did the joke, oh, well, you have to be a default furry because you're married to a furry. And a lot of them, I guess, didn't even really know that I had fully committed to the furry fandom at that point. And I kind of was just like, oh, no, it's not a default furry anymore, full-fledged furry. And they all took it very well, like I knew they would. It was everything else that I was not quite so sure about. I actually came out as a furry first at work. The kind of environment that I work in, everyone kind of, well, talks about all kinds of random things. And I'm not even sure how it got started. I think, and I'm sorry if this ruins any of my PG-13 ratings, but someone may have been talking about kinks. And one of the girls that I worked with actually said, you know what I think is actually low-key kind of attractive? Fursuits. And I remember this one girl that was standing across from us completely blew up, like it was the worst possible thing that she ever could have said, that this was the lowest thing that could have come out of her mouth, was that, yeah, fursuits are kind of attractive. I could maybe be a furry. And she spends like a good solid 5 minutes uninterrupted just ranting about how furries are awful and horrible and how they should all be ashamed of themselves. And finally she stopped, and the girl that had mentioned it was like, well, that's just your opinion. I think I'm probably still gonna try it out anyways if I wanted to. And I kind of just, I had this clench in my chest as soon as she said that, and I was like, well, here's your chance. So at that point I was gonna say, yeah, besides what you said, I would like to say that 95% of us definitely aren't like that. And then, of course, everyone slowly turns and looks at me. What? Yeah, that was kind of a misrepresentation of furries. Like, we're not like that at all. I mean, there is some of what you said going on, but I mean, the same thing could be said with people that are really into comic books. And the girl that had been berating furries turned bright red and then walked away. And then, of course, I got immediately assaulted with a barrage of questions. For instance, like, what animal I was, and then people wanted to know stuff that I definitely was not comfortable telling them. But a lot of it was just like that curiosity. And I did talk with the girl that had shown some interest with it a little bit more. It's something that she actually decided not to pursue. However, there was one guy that was there listening to the whole thing, and he kind of came up to me later. By later, I mean probably 2 weeks later, I think. And he was like, so I had a question for you. Yeah, what about? So this furry thing. I was like, yeah, what about it? It's like, so by chance, are there like lizards and stuff? Yeah, there's lizards, there's, you know, alligators, Komodo dragons, there's people that even try to do snakes, there's dragons. He's like, asking for a friend, do you know if by chance anyone would make a suit out of scale mail? Which, for those of you that don't know, it's similar to chainmail, except it is done in a fashion to where it actually looks like scales and it's kind of layered. And I was like, a fursuit made out of scale mail. I was like, that's going to be extremely heavy, extremely hot, and extremely expensive. But if you find the right person, yeah, I'm sure they probably could do that. He's like, I think that's what I want to try to do. I'm like, oh. So, is this kind of like you telling me that you're a furry? And he's like, well, no, not really. Unless that's what the lizards and stuff are called. And I was like, I guess technically in the subgroup it's scalies. And he's like, yeah, I'm saying I'm a scaly. And I guess that's kind of like one of my favorite stories, because my coming out at work also, you know, it kind of broadened this other girl's perspective that was thinking about it and decided not to do anything with it. And this guy that never would have said anything otherwise basically went full-fledged force into the fandom. And to my knowledge, he's continued to go on. I do talk to him every once in a while. He still has not gotten his scale mail fursuit yet, but I told him that when this does happen, I need pictures because that's going to look awesome. So being out at work and then getting, you know, that positive reaction and all the questions that I knew I would get, that kind of pumped me up and I was feeling good. I a little bit after this, we were scheduled to go to my very first furry convention, which was actually in the state of Ohio. It's called Fur Reality. It's a very small convention there. I had an absolute blast. I loved every second of it, every minute of it. I wore myself out trying to get as many panels as I could, and it was an amazing time. And I was looking through all the pictures that I took that day, and I was like, this is an amazing time, and I really want to share that. So I was thinking about it, and I decided, you know what? Fine. This makes me really happy, and all of the people that love me and want me to be happy might not understand completely what's going on or what it is that I'm doing, but they will be happy that I am happy. So I posted it to Facebook, which had all of my family and a lot of my normie friends on there, and it was their official for the close-knit part of my world to see. And I spent probably a good half hour like in sheer terror after I had done it, like, oh no, what am I doing? It was like my parents had mixed, not bad, but mixed reactions when I came out and told them that I was gay. Like, what am I doing to them coming out yet again about something? But everything actually went extremely smooth. Like, I was actually surprised that I got as much overwhelmingly positive support as I did, and it was very unexpected, and it definitely like boosted me up some. One of the best reactions that I got was actually from my sister-in-law, who said, I have no idea what these pictures are or what any of what you just said means, but I'm glad that you're happy, bro. And just a lot of thumbs ups and wows and hearts, and I don't think there was anything negative said. And it's one of those things that like my whole family knows now, and like my normie friends know, and it's fine. And I know that's not the case for everyone, and I have run into bad reactions if it is something that has come up. Like, I don't always run around and stuff like, hello, my name is fill in blank here. I am a furry. And it's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't really advertise being gay. It's not like it's a banner for me. It's just part of who I am. Like, it's not like, hey, I'm Flame, resident homosexual. Very nice to meet you. So, I don't know. That kind of got off on a little bit of a ramble there. But more to the story. I was actually supposed to go to dinner with my parents and my grandma the day after I posted those pictures, and we did. And so my mom asked about, she was like, so I saw all those pictures and what you said, like, what was this convention all about? So I pulled up all the pictures, and I kind of explained, you know, what the furry fandom was to my mom, my dad, and my grandma all at the same time while we're in a crowded restaurant. I explained to them, you know, what it did for me, how it made me feel, and that's all they needed to know. And that was a really great feeling, and they were so supportive to the point that I can actually say that I would not have Flamebait here if it was not for their help. Because we were, as I said in a previous video, Flamebait was actually up for auction. He was not created for me. And I had the initial amount saved up for him. And I put my bid in. And one person bid above me. And I was extremely sad. Because I was thinking, well, that's it. I'm not gonna get Flame because I have nothing else to give. And I was actually, my mom called. It was close to my birthday and Christmas, both of which were in the month of December, of course. And she was like, hey, I'm gonna try this one more time because you and your grandma are the worst people for me to try to buy for, because you all tell me that you don't need anything and you'll be happy with whatever I get you. So is there absolutely anything that you want that I can get you? And I did something that I normally don't do, and I was like, okay, there is one thing. And I explained the situation. I was like, I put a bid in on this fursuit, and I really want him. I would have pretty much the whole rights to the character. And I put the initial bid in, everything was going good, but someone has outbid me. I don't have enough saved up to beat their bid. If you can help me do that, that would probably be the best gift you could ever give me. And my mom was kind of quiet for a moment, and she was like, so this fursuit will make you happy. And I was like, it will make me immensely happy. I don't really know why. I can't explain it. I saw this red, yellow, and orange wolf, and I immediately had this connection. Like, I knew that he was supposed to be mine and I was supposed to be his, and I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it to you. So she thought about it and she was like, okay, well, let me talk to your dad. My mother is the more reserved of the two. And my dad called back maybe 20 minutes later, and he's like, son, your mom told me what was going on, and I think that would be fantastic. We can definitely do that for you. And I'm like, yay, awesome, you're great parents. And they're like, I know. But also, if for some reason this is outbid, I know someone that could possibly actually make a suit for you. And I was like, oh? I didn't know that you knew any fursuiters. That seems like something that maybe you would tell me. And he was like, well, it never came up in conversation before. And I was like, so, is this someone that I know? And he inserted the name, and I was like, what? And it was shocking, because this is a woman that I had known for a good chunk of my childhood, because, you know, aside from making fursuits, she was also a seamstress. That's actually how she started. But I went to school with her kids. They were in my class. So it was one of those things, like, I felt like once I came out as a furry, it's like furries were just like falling from the sky. We're everywhere now. And I don't know. That's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to say, like, how it was when I came out as a furry. And, the thing that I want to tell anyone else that is thinking about coming out as a furry is, first and foremost, you got to make sure that you're doing it for the right reason. When I decided to come out, it was because it was the right time for me. And that's something that no one can tell you when it's okay for you to come out. And that means, like, whether you're a furry or whether you're gay or whether, you feel you're a different gender. That's all on you. It's your voice, and you have to decide when to speak up and when you want people to hear that about you. Second thing that I would like to tell anyone that is thinking about coming out as a furry, while most of what I got was overwhelmingly positive, you do need to expect some backlash. I didn't necessarily get it from any of my close family or friends, but there are definitely some people that I used to talk to that I don't really talk to anymore. Is it sad? Yes. But at the same time, as things progress, people do grow apart. And, if it's just a casual thing, that's life, it happens. At some point, you can probably go back and mend that relationship. Because it was never really broken, it was just put on pause. But something like this, if someone is having a hard time coming to terms with who you are, and they decide that they can't be your friend because of that, or they decide that they can't be around you because of that, then the honest truth in that situation is, you are better off without them. People don't need that kind of negativity in their lives. There's always going to be two people to every one person telling you, hey, you know what? You're fine the way you are. And there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. And that's the part that I want each and every one of you to remember is, you might lose something, you might lose someone, but you're going to gain so much more. I can't begin to tell you how happy I am being a furry, how happy I am being Flame. And I can't tell you how happy it makes me that I can openly share that with the people that I care about, the people that, are a part of the other half of my life. And that's kind of awesome. And I don't think I would trade that for the world. The third thing that I would maybe say about coming out as a furry, just be careful how you word things. People like to jump to conclusions. People that, refrained from asking me questions up until very recently, when they finally were brave enough to ask these questions, kind of assumed certain things about myself and my husband and my boyfriend. And just be patient. That's the best thing I can say. There's going to be questions. There's going to be people that don't understand. And, don't criticize, educate. That's the best way that I can put it. Yes, there's going to be hate. Yes, there's going to be misunderstandings. But, getting angry about it does very little. I am very much along the kind of mindset that, evil only begets more evil. So if someone doesn't understand something, or if someone is wants to understand, but they have a negative misconception about the whole thing, educate. Don't criticize them for what they're thinking. Don't criticize the kind of questions that they're asking you. Do your part to educate and, let people know what the fandom really is. I think that if we did that, then people would not have the kind of negative connotations that they do for furries. And we definitely wouldn't be getting some of the hate either. And that's pretty much it. I know this has been kind of a short video. I'm probably going to be doing lots of editing on this. I might even edit this part out because I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. As always, I do want to thank you for joining me here on my channel. Again, everyone that views, everyone that subscribes, everyone that comments, thank you so much. You really do mean a lot to me. You're wonderful, and you keep being the best you that you possibly can. Alright, that's it for tonight. I hope everyone keeps it sizzling, and I will see you around the interwebs on Monday, hopefully. Please don't hate me if it's not Monday and possibly Tuesday. But either way, I will be seeing you around, and yeah, bye!